Alright, so the two situations where Tybalt is good. I could write a chapter of a book starting with this thesis statement right here.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Variance is something that happens in Magic. If you play a Tybalt and you draw and you discard exactly the card that you would have discarded anyways, then Tybalt is good. There is a very small chance when you play Tybalt that every single time you use him, he's just going to discard exactly what you want.
You're right.
So he's good if you're lucky, but I mean, obviously that doesn't happen enough for you to play him, right?
Nope.
But that's one situation where Tybalt is good. The other situation where Tybalt is good is if you literally have no care in the world what goes to your graveyard. As long as a card in your hand is going from your library to your graveyard, and that's what your deck is trying to do to win the game, then Tybalt is actually quite good.
I see what you're saying.
But so far, I have not found a deck that...
Yeah.
I tried using it with, like, Runechanter's Pike, just, like, trying to play, like, all instants and sorceries.
No,
and
you
like,
can't do that. You can't do that.
But I just kept pitching my Pike, God damn it.
Yeah, you can't, that's the
Because the
problem.
one time you pitch your Pike, you just want to throw your fist through the wall. It's just, like... Yeah, but his casting cost is also rough. He's just not good.
Because look at it from the way that we were just talking about card advantage. He does not help you generate either.
No,
right?
but he does have a second and third ability that are relevant to the game of Magic. His ultimate is actually pretty sweet.
It's okay if they have creatures out. Right? I mean, it works if they have creatures out.
Right, but if they played like a Primeval Titan and then you like took it and swung at them.
Alright. I'm just saying, it's a creature ability, right?
Or if they play a Grave Titan, you're just like, give me all those and smash you.
You're right. In some situations, you'll be like, oh, this ability is awesome. But in some situations, all you'll take is, a Delver and smack them for 3. And it's like, okay.
I know. But, and I think the only situation where you would want to use, or like, where you would want to use Tybalt is in like a really heavy dredge deck. But the problem is even in dredge, like if you pitch your lands, it's still bad. Like you'd have to find some way to make everything good in the graveyard, and I just think that's kind of impossible to do.
Especially since he's red.
There's always going to be cards that you want to go to the graveyard more than others. Right?
Yeah.
Let's stop talking about Tybalt.
Yeah, Tybalt's not good.
Let's talk about Bant. I want to talk about Bant.
Why? What about Bant? In standard Bant?
Standard Bant. Standard post-gate crash Bant.
Okay, post-gate crash.
Yeah, are you looking at this list that I have up?
No, hold on. Okay.
The Terminus is supposed to be Merciless Eviction.
Okay. Magtas, Supreme Verdicts.
This deck has been a fucking monster for me lately. This deck has been disgustingly good, and this sideboard is right, too.
I would alter some stuff. I might only alter one card. I might take out a Think Twice to put in a Detention Sphere. Yeah. I know, but...
Don't fuck with this guy. There's only one way to make him good, and you have to be running the proper amount of instants and sorceries.
Do you have 4 of him, though?
I do have 4. I'm thinking about taking some creatures out, though. And putting something else in, but I'd like to... try and guess what the thing I'm gonna add in there would be. I'm curious. What do you think I would add to Bant to make it better?
Pithing Needle. No, I don't know.
Main deck. I'll name Hellrider. Aww.
What is up with Sands of Delirium? They're going balls out on the
That card is the nuts in the mirror, dude. Whenever you're playing a mirror match, Sand, like, because everyone focuses around the Nephalia's Drownyard. And you have the Pithing Needle on the board just to needle their Drownyard, and you don't care about yours, you're just playing as a colorless land, and maybe, you'll still, like, out-Drownyard to them. If they don't draw their Drownyards, you don't draw your Sands, you just have to kill them with Drownyard, right? That can still happen. But the Pithing Needle just names Nephalia Drownyard, and then you just Sands of Delirium and mill them so much faster. And not to mention, this deck finds its counterspells so well with 4 Aggro Bolus. And even if every control mirror's answer to a Sands of Delirium is a Detention Sphere or an O-Ring, it's like a permanent. And so what you do is you side in the Merciless Evictions, and then even if they're like O-Ring is their answer, you can just let them do that and then exile all of their O-Rings and Detention Spheres, and all your shit comes back. and then you just protect it more.
Yeah, but it's not like Merciless Eviction is uncounterable. It's actually a 6... It could be just a 6 mana...
Right, but you are going to be drawing more counter spells than them. Which is extremely...
In the mirror? Why do you say that? In the mirror?
You have 4 Augur of Bolus. And you also have a fucking counterspell package up the butt in the sideboard. I mean, you have 8 hugely relevant counterspells that come in. Or a total of 8 after this. And then you also have the Augurs that dig for them. Like, whenever I play Control Mirror, I always have a counterspell in hand. It's never a problem. Which is a good feeling. But I think...
I respect this deck.
The other strategy that people were going with was Elixir of Immortality, just playing a bunch of elixirs. But then you just shut them. Milled. Dude, this thing, yeah, it gets milled, and then this thing is also just nasty. Because it's a sideboard versus any kind of reanimator thing. I haven't seen a lot of it lately. Actually, I haven't seen any of it lately. But I mean, that's exactly how that stupid fucking Angel deck won that Grand Prix. You remember? The Angel of Glory's Rise.
Oh, yeah.
The Chronic Flooding deck?
Yeah.
If you just had Rest in Pieces in your board, that deck would be so screwed. Rest in Peace destroys that deck.
It does.
You know what else exiles Chronic Floodings? Merciless Eviction.
Yeah. So are you saying those Terminus are supposed to be Merciless Eviction?
Yeah, this card is so good because... Like, sometimes they just, like, you're playing against Jund, and they play, like, 2 Rakdos Key Runes, which is normally an issue for you, because that card's really good against Thragtusk. You just exile all of them. Or they have, like, a Garruk and a Liliana online. You're like, fuck off! Like, no, you cannot have 2 Planeswalkers. Or they play, like, a Sorin and a Tamiyo. The card's very good.
Is it? How much do you think it's worth?
I use it for the creature's ability the most. I don't know. What's it pre-selling at?
I'm asking you. What do you think it should be pre-selling at? Don't look it up.
I'm not. I think it is probably pre-selling at like 3, but it should be quite higher than that.
Yeah, it's at 222.
Seems really cheap to me, but I think it's going to go even lower before people recognize it. I think that card's going to go down to bulk rare until people start to figure it out.
I think that card's going to be sick foil.
Creatures, artifacts, enchantments, and planeswalkers. Not to mention, the one card that I want to add to this deck, which I think could just be the nuts of Standard, Blind Obedience.
Oh, that card's okay. Yeah, in Standard, I don't know. It's good.
Aggro decks are insanely powerful right now. Like, Hellrider and Falconwrath Aristocrat are not something you want to fuck with right now. Like, those cards are really good. They held Rakdos aggro into Standard. Like, remember previous Standard?
Yeah.
When Rakdos aggro was doing so good?
Yeah.
Like, those are decks you need to worry about. Those cards coming into play tapped: Ash Zealot, Lightning Mauler, Falconwrath Aristocrat, Hellrider, Thundermaw Hellkite.
Yeah, so you're saying it's a sideboard card. So, I mean, it's not...
No, I'm talking about main board. I'm talking about that be your win condition.
Whoa, Blind Obedience?
Yeah, no, I'm dead serious, too.
Oh my god, I don't know about that, dude.
I've been thinking, what if you took out, because imagine even in a control mirror, I feel like that would just be like next leveling a control matchup, because what happens is you get into these huge fucking stalls, but then like, their life total would be relevant at some point. If every single spell that you're casting, which is a lot in a control mirror, those games go long, like you're gonna just be pinging them to death. You're just like, think twice, ping you, think twice. And imagine if you had multiples on the board, so you're like, flashback or think twice, ping you 3 times. And you're just doing that end of their turn, late game. Like, they're not going to be able to race you with any, or, out damage you. No way.
Yeah.
They can't be tapping out for Thragtusk and stuff like that, because they're just going to walk into a Wrath spell. Which is totally fine. Or B, just lose to your Blind Obedience.
It's interesting.
Also, all their defensive creatures come into play tapped, too, which is good because not only does it apply some kind of threat to control by, like, every single spell you can play is, like, actively winning the game for you, or starting to win the game.
Yeah.
But then, like, if you do play a threat like a Thragtusk, they can't just answer that with the Thragtusk, because your Thragtusk still bashes in there for 5, because theirs came into play tapped. They
Yeah, that's not such a